the first German officer executed by the Western Allies. On December 20th, 1944, during the Battle of the Bulge near the German municipality of Bleialf, the 2nd Battalion of the 293rd Volksgrenadier Regiment, commanded by 29-year-old Captain Curt Bruns, captured some 300 US soldiers from the 106th Infantry Division and freed 30 Germans who had previously been taken prisoner. Among the captives were Staff Sergeant Kurt Richard Jacobs, aged 35, and Technician 5th Grade Murray Zappler, aged 20, both Jews born in Germany and members of an interrogation team attached to the division. Shortly after this operation, 2 recently liberated German soldiers informed Bruns that 2 of the American prisoners spoke fluent German. After identifying them, the captain ordered the remaining captives to march towards Bleialf and held Jacobs and Zappler back. Bruns asked whether they had interrogated his men in German. When they replied in the affirmative, he questioned them further until at one point, the 2 men stated that they were German Jews. It was then that the German captain uttered the words, "Jews have no right to live in Germany." Following a brief discussion with his adjutant, Sergeant Werner Hoffmann, a firing squad was hastily assembled. However, before the prisoners could even turn to face the squad, both men were shot in the back in the middle of the street and subsequently buried in a shallow grave by the roadside. This crime might never have come to light were it not for Corporal Heinrich Kauter, a German communist conscripted towards the end of the war owing to manpower shortages. After being captured by American forces, he reported the murder. On the basis of his testimony alone, by late January 1945, Bruns was included on a list of suspected war criminals and a systematic search was initiated, culminating on 7th February when he was located in a bunker near the Belgian-German border. Initially, Bruns admitted having spoken to the victims, but blamed a superior officer who had been killed in action. It was the word of a corporal against that of a captain. In order to clarify the facts, the Americans placed Anton Korn, another captured German communist, in the adjoining cell hoping to obtain a confession, and it worked. Bruns confessed the crime to him and disclosed the burial site of the 2 men. With the testimonies of Kauter, Korn, and a local civilian who heard discussions about the shooting, the case was substantiated. Bruns was tried on the 7th of April 1945 in the town of Düren, North Rhine-Westphalia, by a US military commission in proceedings that lasted only 1 day, justified on the grounds that he constituted a continuous threat to American military operations. He was sentenced to death by firing squad. The sentence was carried out on the 15th of June 1945 at a quarry in Densdorf, Lower Saxony, where 5 other German soldiers were already awaiting execution after being convicted of espionage. Dressed in his uniform without insignia, Bruns went down in history as the first German officer executed by the Western Allies for war crimes.